Hello and welcome to my next video where I would like to give you a little bit of a teaser as to part of the computer science course that I offer that maybe is a little bit different and is something that is not on offer in other places. You may or may not know, my background is as an electronic engineer. I graduated from Southampton University with a master's in electronic engineering back in 1998, having studied in Germany and France as well as in Southampton. I then went on to become a chartered engineer with the Institute of Electrical Engineers, and I spent my career working in the field of telecommunications, specifically mobile phone technology. I did quite a bit of coding sort of alongside that. I guess it was like a tool, a language that I used, so I wasn't specialising in software development, but that was something which was very much an integral part of kind of my the jobs that I needed to do and the skills that I needed to master. One of the things that I did quite a lot of while I was doing my university degree was building circuits, designing circuits and working with little microcontrollers. Now, back in the day, because I'm quite old now, those microcontrollers couldn't do very much. Nowadays, obviously, we can do incredible things with teeny tiny little microcontrollers and things like this Raspberry Pi, which you can see I've got in a nice clear case here so you can see inside it. This is what we would call a microcomputer. So actually everything that you would expect to find in a computer is in here in some form. There are some bits which are not quite the same, so we haven't got a great big hard disk drive going. If you know, that's one of the things which sort of spins up in an older desktop or even an older laptop, and it can be quite fragile. It's quite sensitive to being dropped, especially when it's spinning. Nowadays we have the modern solid state drives, and they're much more robust, and they're the sorts of things that you get in the thinner, more lightweight laptops that you can buy nowadays. We don't have either of these in here, but we do have 32 gigabytes of storage on a teeny tiny little SD card which gets put in there. And looking at memory and storage is one of the topics that we cover. So when we're looking at the whole module on hardware, so that's module 3, because it's chapter 3 in the textbook, the hardware chapter is huge. It's absolutely huge. Now, if you're really interested in hardware, you're really excited about learning, and you're looking at this going, oh, I'd quite like to know what all of this does, and like, what's this all about? Well, this means you can connect to a nice little breadboard, and on a breadboard like this, you can start to build your own circuits. There's not very much on there at the moment. This little kit comes in a box with a whole load of components. We've got things like resistors in there. We've got lots of jumper wires to make the connections. We've got apologies parents, very noisy buzzer, but we want our circuits maybe to make noise. And we've got lots of things like these little LEDs, these little lights, little LED lights there that we can stick into the breadboard and make circuits with. This whole contraption here that you plug in means that you can just plug it in directly to a power supply. So there's the plug, you can just plug it in, or it can be also powered by USB. So if you're connecting to your Raspberry Pi, you can just power it from a USB slot in there. So there's lots of ways to use this little kit. You don't kind of need very specialist equipment once you've got this little kit from me. And what I'm suggesting, parents, because I know this is the sort of thing you think, oh my goodness, how much is this going to cost? Well, what I would love to do is I would love to be able to offer these kits for a deposit, but on loan. So if you would like to use these kits, then I can send them to you, and then you can send back like whatever's left at the end. Most of the tiny little components are only worth pennies, so don't worry about breaking like the teeny weeny tiny little components. It's bigger things like actually the power supply is like one of the more expensive items. If you have your own power supply, then I can just send you the tiny little bits. The Raspberry Pi itself, obviously, it's quite an investment. Again, if that's the sort of thing that you're interested in, then there's various options. You can either buy one yourself, see how you get on, and if you love it, you want to keep it, great. Otherwise, if you want to sell it on, then I would definitely be interested in buying it off you, and maybe we can send it directly to another student who would like to do this. As I say, this is not a necessary part of the course, and if you're not excited by LEDs and buzzers and making the kind of physical electronics part of it, this is one way that we can learn how to code. So the Python coding, normally if we're just doing an online course, then we've got like screens and like little images that can come up, or we've just got a screen-based interface. But when we connect with our physical electronics, we can have a much more interactive experience of programming, so we can just be a little bit more imaginative in what we do. So my suggestion, if you are interested in this, I would love to know how many people are actually as we go through. When you get to module 3, you'll be given the option of, would you like to take part in this course? Would you like to receive one of these little kits boxes on loan? Or if you wish, you can buy your own components. I can sell a box to you if you don't want the pressure of needing to keep it all together to send it back again. If you prefer, you can just buy it from me, obviously, and then I don't need it back. So that then when we're doing the hardware kind of project, then one of that additional module would be saying, okay, well, we've learned about the theory of it, but now let's find out a bit more about it, and let's actually use the hardware to do something actually useful. I think that's probably quite unique. I don't know other people who are offering this. I do this obviously in person here for my students who are coming, and that's why I love teaching in person, is that we can all be poring over a circuit and figuring out why it doesn't work. I very much appreciate that it might not be the kind of thing that you would want to get stuck in to with your child. Maybe you do. Maybe you want to learn together, and that would be great. If you sign up for this kind of additional module, then obviously I'm expecting that I might need to do a few one-to-ones. We might need to try and get like a video link. Maybe you might need to be there with your phone, kind of pointing your camera at what your young person is doing and saying, well, this doesn't work and we don't know why. So I'm really happy to kind of help debug that and help your young person get a bit more practical experience, because speaking as an engineer, it's not just about the theory, it is about the practical skills as well. And just like all of the science GCSEs, having the practical experience yourself is so much better than just watching somebody else do it on YouTube. So I've always tried to do that with my own children, to the detriment of some bits of equipment in the house and a couple of saucepans. So it's great to do. Oh, there we go, sorry, noises. So I will try and put together kind of some pricing for that. Obviously, I don't want to make any money from that, I just want to cover my costs. I love putting those little kits together. It's been really fun to do. So do let me know in the comments if you're watching these videos with your young person, whether they're like, oh yeah, that sounds really interesting, I really want to do that bit, can I do that extra bit? Or whether they're like, oh, I'm not sure, that looks a bit tricky. Doesn't matter either way, but if I know who's interested, that's going to help me plan the next sessions. This Raspberry Pi module is normally, I teach this in the spring term. So that is when I would be aiming to get that up and running by, is after Christmas. So it won't be the first module that comes out, but it will be coming up fairly shortly. And I'm really looking forward to it. That's all for now.